It's a trolley.
Can you take a picture of me in here? Okay, Kaylee, here. I'm gonna take a picture here.
Do not board.
I know. Kaylee, here.
Or wait to be seen.
Kaylee, Brandon, take a picture of us here.
He's taking a picture.
Of us. Okay, can you take a picture, Jan? Get in here.
They're keeping track of all the drinks. I'm marking them down. Yeah. Whatever you want.
I'm gonna get the pecan chicken dinner with the honey
And then
pineapple
what else is
sauce.
on the menu? There's filet of mignon. There's fried perch from Lake Erie. Pecan chicken. Pecan chicken. And chicken and spinach ravioli. And includes side salad, dessert choice, cake or cheesecake. Or cake with cheese, because we're in Wisconsin.
Michael made it himself, which I'm very proud of because it's fantastic and I've seen it. So, yeah. So anyway, so this is it. Mikey, Michael. That one, sorry, just the one.
It's Rick Eisen that showed me 3 years. That's volume.
Oh my gosh.
I can record it.
We'll find out.
Baby pictures. I know those people. Flashback. The 80s. Oh, Grandpa.
Is that you in the picture?
Yeah. That's us. Yeah.
That's my daddy and me, not me twice.
It's Megan.
Years.
Long day at the office. Whole bottle of vodka and a watermelon.
It's all selfish. That's my ring. Get him a shirt
With that, I need to propose a toast. Ben, you have one day left as my favorite son-in-law. Tomorrow, the competition begins.
You're even like Dax last night, and Mike threw the game so that Dell could win.
I think it's a pecan crusted chicken.
Is that fried rice under?
No, it's couscous, and then
Looks like
there's
fried rice.
pineapple and honey.
That's tenderloin, filet mignon, medium rare,
Hey, you want
with
cheese?
steamed broccoli. That's the same pecan chicken. And this right here is fried perch
Maybe you should squeeze the orange.
from Lake Erie. Strawberry cheesecake.
And I am one of Mike's best friends. I'd like to state very clearly for the record that I said that I am one of Mike's best friends. I am not Mike's best friend.
Yes, sir, is this
I have known Mike for 25 years, yet I'm not Mike's best friend. I even happen to know Michael's exact monetary worth. Now, how many people can say that about one of their best friends? Allow me to tell you a quick story for a moment. Mike and I met in 4th grade, and within that year, my house was to be the site of Mike's first ever sleepover. It was to be. Now, what you need to know is at the time, my family was living with my grandparents, and at least for my family in Massachusetts, it was pretty much, like here in Wisconsin, normal to grow up in a family of hunters.
Yeah.
My grandpa was a big buck hunter, and so it was totally natural for me that there was buck heads above our mantle on the wall. What I did not know was that this was not natural at all for Mike. So after eating way too much pizza and sugar, and watching way too many vivid movies, my mom let us camp out in the living room. And Mike's overactive imagination got the better of him. The thought of those stags staring down at him all night was just too much for Mike to handle. and he was forced to call his mother to come and pick him up from my house. I was mortified. My first ever sleepover buddy is about to leave my house prematurely, nearly in tears. There goes the late night stories in the dark, the pranks on my sister, the waking up the next morning to eat Fruity Pebbles and watch more cartoons and jump in my grandparents' pool. All of my childhood dreams went up in smoke. It was very dramatic. That's when Mrs. Kwan showed up to buy off my friendship. Mrs. Kwan is a smart lady. She knew that Michael might not be the only one in need of cheering up. And she knew just how to hit me where it counts. In the stomach. Mrs. Kwan brought with her, quite possibly, the largest bag of crab rangoons my 10-year-old had. It was like 5 or 6 large orders of crab rangoons. It was like a party tray of crab rangoons, just for me. I had just traded one of my potential best friends for about $30. Well, since then, Mike and I have had many more successful sleepovers, as long as we camped out of sight of the deer heads. Lots of late night runs to Wendy's for Frosties and trips to the Old Country Buffet. But not all of our adventures involved food. We also played high school football together. We went to our first... We went to our very first concert together. We've helped each other move out of dorms, across cities, and even clear across the country. We've been to more than half a dozen Major League Baseball fields together. We found ourselves living at the same time in both Los Angeles and in Chicago, where we now live together. No, together. We've gotten lost, we've hiked canyons, we've taken trips and classes. We've eaten lots and lots and lots of food together. Yet, I am still not Mike's best friend. But you need to understand this. I don't say this with any shred of cynicism or jealousy whatsoever. I want to explain something. Many of you also know Frank. Say hi, Frank. Frank will be playing a pretty crucial role tomorrow at the wedding. Frank also grew up as an only child, right next door to the Kwan's house. Frank has known Mike just about as long as I have. To this day, they even have a very long-standing treaty that guarantees the other gets to ride shotgun whenever the other is driving. Frank and Mike have shared an equal amount of trips and adventures and stories, and yet Frank is not Mike's best friend. He's most certainly is one of Mike's very good, one of his best friends, in fact, but he is not Mike's best friend. So we have Matt and Jason here. Fellas. These guys met Mike at a very crucial time in their lives. They all went to BU together. They lived in Boston. They got drunk. They lived out on their own for the first time. And they got all kinds of their own hijinks stories that I'm sure they'll tell you about at some point. For several years, they did this through all of college. Mike was also Matt's best man at his wedding. And you'll hear from Matt tomorrow as his best man. Both Matt and Jason are here because they are each one of Mike's best friends. But neither one of them is Mike's best friend. To know Mike is to know that he's always had a problem with this idea. He's always been a little uncomfortable with the idea of best friend. There's always some kind of qualifier. This is one of my oldest friends. This is my friend from high school. This is my best college friend. I used to think that this was a little weird. Like Mike was worried about offending one of us when we were talking about the others. As if we weren't familiar with the idea of having several best friends and enough to call one of them my best friend here and still have another best friend elsewhere in the country. I imagine that there's an intricate system in Mike's head that's constantly in flux for one of us beating out the other for spot of best friend. I swear I've only thought about this because Mike has just been always a little bit weird about it. But I finally figured it out. In the last few years, I've been fortunate to bear witness to the wonder that is Sarah. She is caring and kind. She tutors and mentors kids after school, and she herself is going to school so that she can be a special needs teacher. She is outgoing and friendly. The second or third time we ever hung out, we had brunch together without Mike. Because he had just left Chicago and left both of us there. I had moved there about 3 weeks earlier, and Sarah and he had had a couple of dates at that point. Yeah. Well, but she brought me the book that I had lent Mike, and we talked about missing him. It wouldn't be long before Mike would be back in Chicago and we would all be hanging out together. This past year, Mike couldn't make it to my birthday, but Sarah still came, and I don't think she knows how much that meant to me. She is fun and loud. There is a mischievous streak in her that is contagious and awesome to behold. I know that even if Mike may not be up for something crazy, most likely Sarah will be. Unless she has to open the store the next morning. She is beautiful and elegant and tall, and she totally owns it. She loves sports and art and food and her friends and her family. And she loves Mike. This is abundantly clear. The girl from Wisconsin gave up dairy for her lactose intolerant boyfriend. These two balance each other like no two I have ever known. And I totally get it. I am proud to count Sarah as one of my friends. And tomorrow, one of my best friends gets to marry his best friend. And I couldn't be happier for the both of them. So Mike and Sarah.
Someone take a photo. I've been videoing this whole time. Can you put your hand in my dress?
Inside your dress. Hand in your dress.
Oh, it's long. Oh, that's a picture of me. Okay. That's all the entertainment we planned for tomorrow.
Your hotel. You guys live in Wisconsin, you know where things are.
If you pin the venue, a lot of you know this.
How about speed?
If you pin the venue into your MapQuest, you will not show up to our wedding. You are going to want these. So
Yes,
if you're
believe
coming
me.
from the north, which is anywhere near Green Bay, you're going to want these directions.
Everybody, go to the bar.
Wise choice. Put up the water.
There we go. There we go. Michael, hey, you bought this one, so you gotta speak. To my cousin Mike. Good luck.
To my cousin Mike.
Yeah, that was Jameson. Oh boy. Woo! Goes down smooth. I remember that one.